This is the review cut of the Don't Say No, como se dice, episode 8. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, my opinions, unfiltered. I'm gonna say what I want, I mean what I say. As far as what I think is going to happen in this episode, I think we're definitely going to have a confrontation between Mate and Fiat's mom. I feel like there's again gonna be a lot of emotion, a lot of things that Fiat is gonna have to tackle as far as mentally. He's definitely going to have to tackle what happened to him when he was, what, 4? I am not looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to resolve, because honestly, like, that's a traumatic experience for a child. No matter who you are, your mom is literally like trying to brainwash you to hate everyone and only love her, and then in the end you actually end up hating her more because, you know. Also, I think Fiat is going to do like a little bit of like backpedaling because there's some issues that he's gonna have with Leo dealing with the mom, but I hope they understand that the issues that they have are probably because of her, because I guarantee I'm going to agree with Leo and what he says to Fiat, because in the previews of the last episode, I think he was like, you know, the Fiat, like, what is this or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to agree with him. Leon and Pulp, I'm not ready to learn what possibly happened to Pulp. I am not ready because if you are new, hello. If you're returning, hello again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification so you know each and every time I upload. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon for more exclusive content. This is why I fucking love me some Leo. He said, no matter how much you change the subject, I'm not gonna argue with him like Fiat. I'm not gonna argue with you like Fiat does, because I'm mature. I'm an adult. I'm not gonna play your games. Either you're gonna say it or you're not. So say it or not. Like, y'all don't know how to talk, y'all don't know how to communicate, but I ain't the one. I'm not gonna baby you into getting the information out, because I can find it out myself. Point blank, period. Imagine if like Leo said it like that. That would have been hilarious. I try to understand. I try to understand what you were saying, but I don't know. I cannot comprehend what you are saying. My ancestors are turning over in their grave right now because I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Why would you think that? Like, okay, you're keeping Fiat from his mom, or you're trying to keep Fiat from his mom. You won't tell him what it is. Therefore, process of elimination, deductive reasoning means that you're probably trying to protect them from something. If you're not, then what's the point? What's the point? If you're not protecting him from something, what are you doing it for? Just to be petty? Just so your son will talk to you about something? Because otherwise, would he not talk to you about something? Like, what? So basically, he found out what she was doing and he tried to fix it. He tried to like cope with it, but he was just like, look, I can't take this. You're literally turning my son into this object, and you're teaching him that no one loves him, when in fact we do love him, and that you are the only one that loves him. It's almost like, I have no doubt the mom loves him, but she's a psychopath. Therefore, she loves him way too much. But I get him. I understand, Mate. I wish things would have been a little bit more transparent, especially because Fiat is old enough to understand. And I feel like he should have just sat Fiat down and be like, look, Fiat, let me tell you some things about your mom you might not like. And then Fiat probably would have, honestly, Fiat probably would have rejected it. But then at that point, you let him figure it out for himself, like find it out for himself. Because at the end of the day, you did the right thing by letting him know, by being transparent with him. And if he doesn't want to accept it, that's fine. That's his mom. He can go to her, like, I would let him go to her and find out. Granted, for me personally, it would be facilitated considering she's a psychopath. But, you know, I would still expose him to her just so he can see for himself that she is not a good person. She is not a good person. That's how you know that he is traumatized. he's just laying there, and literally you gently touching him sets it off. Like, I just want to hug him. I just want to let him know everything's okay. Fiat has been through some shit. I really did not like Fiat in Tarn Type, but getting to know him here and Don't Say No, and like them going deeper into his character and all the crap he's been through, like, I feel for him. I feel for him so much. It doesn't excuse what he did, because that was not good. That was trash. But he also has been through some. It's like separating that incident from like everything he's been through. I want to hug him. If it was all in the past, then you would not be reacting to her like you're reacting to her. If it was all in the past, you would see her and be like, hey, bye. Like, that's not being in the past, Fiat. It's not all in the past, because it's affecting you in the present. Okay? But I also see how Leo feels, because it's like, as much as you're there to help someone, if it's like pulling teeth trying to get them to open up to you and to, you know, let you help them, it's like you get to a point where you're just like, okay, I guess you don't want me to help you out at all. So from this point on, I'm not going to open myself up to be there for you when you need someone, because obviously you're going to deny every single time. While on the other side, I do understand, like, sometimes it is hard to open up to people, and you by any means have no obligation to open yourself up to anybody. It don't matter who it is. You have no obligation to. But you have to understand, with you having no obligation to, and with you constantly, if you constantly have issues that probably need outside resolution, like someone from the outside to help you resolve them, and you keep and these issues keep affecting that person, and you don't trust them to help you resolve those, then they also have no obligation to help you in those issues. So when that being said, if you have an issue, don't bring it to me if you're just going to continuously not let me know what's going on so I can't help you. But at the same time, it's like, if that person doesn't have an obligation to tell you. It's a really messy kind of situation to be in, and it's really hard to navigate that. But it's kind of like tug of war on both ends. It's not a matter of him being strong or weak. It's just that is psychological shit is nothing to play with, and it is not a matter of whether or not you're strong or weak. It is a matter of someone literally brainwashing you and creating this fear in you. That is not weakness. That is just literally you had no control of this happening to you when you were younger. And I think he just needs to let himself be vulnerable with Leo. I think that's the issue. And I think he has that wall up because of all the crap that happened to him when he was younger. You can't go through life and not be affected by like anybody. You can't go through life and not be affected by that. That's why that wall was built up, because of the shit that happened. And that's why you forgot, because you mentally built this wall up so that it couldn't happen to you again. But here she go, here again, causing issues. Leo's family just be all up in there saving people, bitch, saving people. There are so many people around Fiat that love him and that he's brought to his life, and then it's you want to come back and just strip him of all that. How messed up in the head do you have to be to literally want your child to only love you and no one else because of your own selfish reasons? How messed up in the head do you have to be? Can we scale it? I don't think you can. It's crazy how much influence this woman has over this kid. It's crazy how parents can how they can really, really hurt you in your childhood, and that can stick with you until your adult age. Her constant feeding Fiat this information, and her constant abuse and mental abuse, physical abuse, to get this kid to hate everybody but her. I would be so interested into I don't know if they would do a special episode or something like that. I would be so interested to see what brought her to do this to Fiat, because obviously it was something like, obviously something triggered it, because when her and mate basically split, that's something that triggered it. But that can't be the only thing caused that whole entire issue. It had to be something that was ingrained in her as well from like early on, in order for her to just be like, okay, he can't love anybody except for me, because nobody loves me except for myself, and so I need like at least this little last bit of love, of like this impressionable child. I need them to only love me, and if that's the case, I'll do whatever I need to make that happen. I will be happy as long as my child is the only one that loves me. But like, that's so toxic, because it's like, love is endless. It's cliche to say, but like, you can literally love as many people as possible. Like that, there's no limit to that. You can always love someone new. But like, lady, you literally made it to where this child had a wall up to the point where he starts to hurt the people around him. And can I even say it's his fault? Because like, it's like, okay, yeah, you were wrong for doing it, and there has to be consequences. But a lot of these things stem from the constant brainwashing from when he was 4 years old to when he like pushed Auntie Faye and almost caused that miscarriage. And it was like, that's why he's saying like, I don't want to do what my mom did to me to you, because he's like, I did all this stuff thinking that I was just angry at that moment, but when you look at the circumstances and look at what happened to him when he was younger, it's almost like he was executing his mom's plan. Like, anyways, somebody said in my comments, somebody said that Nat and Anna are sisters. I don't want to subscribe to this narrative. My heart will be broken. My life is over. If that's the case, please, just give us this one. Just give us this one. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. They are together. I knew it. That person was just here to spread hate. No, I'm just kidding. Because they very well could have been sisters, but you know. I love how he literally, Fiat, like he organized Fiat's whole like birthday surprise around making sure that Fiat like drilling in his head that he has people around him that loves him, like in every little aspect of it, whether it was the pictures on the walls and the handwritten sticky notes, to the video, to even the candles. Like, the reason why the candles are not the same is because each one of these are from one of your friends. Like, they're all different. And okay, so afterthoughts about episode 9 of Don't Say No. One, I realized I said episode 8 of Don't Say No in the beginning. Brain fart. But anyway, we're past that. We're already at the end. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and at first I thought I was just going to be triggered the whole way, which I was triggered, you know, a good part of the episode. Just because of the issues that would like kind of hit a peak with Fiat and his mom. But I actually really enjoyed it just because there was some resolve. There was resolve with the issue between Fiat and his dad. Not so like in their world yet, but for us as viewers, now that we know kind of more about how Mate was thinking when it came to trying to protect Fiat from his mother and from the truth, we kind of understand him a little bit more now, because he just didn't want to trigger like Fiat's issue. Like, he didn't want to bring him back to that life, and he would have rather him just hate him than Fiat to be suffering and by knowing the truth. But like he said, like he admitted, that was wrong of him. He should have let Fiat know what was going on and kind of explain to him that this is what's happening with your mom, while also like throughout his childhood into his adult life, showing him the type of love that is acceptable and that people should feel. But instead he was just kind of being strict because for Mate, he didn't want to kind of give in to himself and be like, I have to tell him. So with the little petty fights that him and Fiat would have and the kind of pushing Fiat away kind of helped to keep that secret for him. But I'm glad everything came to the light. They were able to move past this, and Fiat was able to talk to his mom. As much as I dislike the mom, I did say I didn't sympathize for her. I sympathize for her in the way that I feel like something also happened to her in her past. That's the part that I sympathize with. Her, like now, I don't really sympathize with. I feel for her in the aspect of something happened for you to become this way. It's up to us. It's up to us to change those ways. And I mean, it's easier said than done, of course, but it's up to us. Like, we as people are the only ones that are going to get us through our issues. Of course, we have help, you know, with friends, family, but ultimately we have to be the one to change. I don't know if the mom has mental issues as far as like further than her just being hyper attached to Fiat. I know it needs to work. But yeah, but that's how I feel about the situation with Fiat, his mom and his dad. And I, again, like Leo's character, I commend Leo's character because as much stuff as that has like been coming at Fiat and Leo is still there with Fiat, and again, he moves forward with no judgment towards Fiat. There is not a judgmental bone in his body. He kind of, and I think in part 3, he kind of felt like he was just useless. But honestly, that needed to happen for Fiat to realize this man has literally been beside you and literally listening to all the issues that you have, tackling them with you and helping you through them this whole time. But when it comes to you opening up to him and letting him help, it's kind of like you just push him away. And like I said before, earlier in the review, no one has an obligation to tell you about their issues. Nobody has that obligation, of course. But it comes to a point where if it's like you are constantly shutting people out, then at some point they're not going to want to help at all, because they're like, okay, why would I offer when you're not going to accept it? And then even on the other side of the coin, why would I tell you if you're not going to help me? So that's why I said it's kind of like an emotional tug of war, because both parties have to be willing and open for there to be anything that happens. Pope and Leon. It's crazy how throughout this whole episode I did not shed one tear. I teared up a little bit, like my eyes got red. But when it came to Pope, Jared, and Leon and Pope, my ass balled. Like, what? But I think that just goes to show that, like, that's why they're my favorite couple in the entire thing. Right beside Miss Anda and Natsu, I knew they were together. I was like, I will not subscribe to this narrative that these two are sisters. No, because our girls don't get enough love in this BL world anyway. So no. And lo and behold, they are together. Thank you. Overall, this episode was a very emotional one. I'm glad they touched on a lot of important points. One of them particularly being forgiveness. I love that the type of forgiveness that they touched on is forgiving for yourself and not for other people. Because Fiat definitely forgave his mom for his peace of mind and for him to grow as a better person. rather than forgiving just because he felt like he had to. I firmly believe you do not have to forgive someone if you don't want to, like no matter what they did, because you're the person that's affected. But I also believe in forgiving for one's peace of mind. Sometimes you just have to like let go and just be like, you know what, it is what it is. This is something that's going to constantly torment me, so I'm just gonna let it go. And I'm glad that Fiat tackled that, and he, you know, got the courage to tackle that and forgive for himself, because he wants his relationships with his friends, with his family, with his boyfriend to flourish and to progress, and he doesn't want something like his past holding on to him. That's gonna be it for my review of episode 9, not 8. Episode 9 of Don't Say No, the series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification so you know each and every time I upload. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.